Warning. 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 Warning.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Sports Staff 49, live on Bucs Report. I'm Blake Anthony, and today is my show, as it always is. Well, today's not Tuesday exactly, it's Monday. Because now we're on football time, we're on football schedule, so now I'll be on here every Monday and Friday, 3 o'clock, bringing you the post-game and the pre-game to Friday. But might as well go into the swing of things this Monday. We'll talk about all the news and stuff that just came out. The depth chart just came out. So you guys excited? I know I am. We'll go over that today as well. I know I didn't have that in the topic section because just recently saw it. So we'll talk about the depth chart, what you guys think, and get you guys some of you guys' thoughts and all that good stuff. And I'll get Allison Kohler on here soon. but we're going to run through, the prerequisites as we always do. Well, I can't say it. It's 3 o'clock. When you look at your watch, it's time to pick up your phone and turn on to Sports Talk 49, that is. I'm Blake Anthony, and today is my show. So make sure to check out our sponsors, the sports bar of the Bucs Report, the Deck Bar and Grill at Isla del Sol. Check us out. We'll be out there against the Saints doing pre, half, and post-game report out there. Make sure to check that out. Taking calls, being with fans, and just talking football, talking about some of the other games as well. Going to talk, Josh Rosen practice squad. Some people's thoughts. I know it was a joke kind of at first, but it kind of happened. I know Leonard Fournette we already talked about, him being signing. I just talked about what jersey number he took and things like that, and how it applies to the depth chart. Talking about Bucs practice squad roster put out there on Twitter by Nick Citro. And then breaking news on the Jadeveon Clowney signing to the Titans. It's not just the sign. See, the signing isn't the part that I just want to get into. It's the things that transpire from a team in our division. I'll get into detail with that. We'll take our time and break that down. But also make sure to check out My Cannabis Card at mycannabiscard.com. Fast Track Cannabis Clinics of America is the nation's largest medical marijuana doctor network with over 2,500 state licensed doctors in all 32 states. Medical marijuana is legal. Cannabis Card is a Tampa-based lead. My Cannabis Card is Tampa-based leading cannabis clinic. My Cannabis Card network is among the broadest in the nation and was developed to make getting your cannabis card as easy and stress-free as possible. My Cannabis Card effectively links new patients with the closest state licensed medical marijuana doctor near them, while also saving them up to 30% on evaluation costs. Just mentioned me, Bucs Report, Peter Blake, etc., etc. Now, saying that, make sure to also check out all these other great shows here on Bucs Report. And these guys giving you all the great content. Got a new show coming up on Sunday. Rick Hughes live from the cheap seats. He'll talk to you about that. Because he's always on live with either Peter or myself or whoever's live usually. But today, on Monday, you had Ask Me Anything earlier with Nick Citro. You got me at 3, and then you got the Sports Web wrapping up the night, 9 to 2 p.m. Then you got Al Keck coming tomorrow night, and Beware the Bay coming nice and early in the morning, bringing you guys the Breakfast Bunch crew. And what's going on, you 49ers in the chat group? I came up with a name. Well, the guys came up with a name for you guys. I know Peter's got the Webhead, so I got the 49ers. That's what you guys are. I know there's a team, but the 49ers works for me. It's a nice name. It's a decent name. I like it. If you guys want to talk, my phone, I don't know what's going on with the Skype line or whatever, but there's still a way we can still communicate. I will post the link in the description box down there. If you guys want to get on and talk Bucs or talk football period or talk the Rays or whatever you want to talk about, get in there and you can just turn your camera off and we can talk about any topic you want to talk about. We'll get Allison on here later when she jumps in. So first and foremost, let's start with Josh Rosen signing to the practice squad. Josh Rosen, former first-round pick of the Arizona Cardinals. I think everybody knows that story. Went to Miami, tried to redeem his career. Didn't quite work out that way. Sometimes that's how it works out here in the NFL. You get a couple chances to move on, get a fresh start somewhere. Sometimes usually it's always never the best team that you go to when you get that chance. So I don't know, if you really got a fair deal. Sometimes it takes people a little longer as well. Josh Rosen didn't really light it up in college at UCLA, and then got picked high and was expected. It was a guy that was expected to elevate the team. So I don't think he was that guy quite yet. He may never be that guy. He might be a guy that's just a marginal role player on the team. But it's great that he gets to come to a team that has a established MVP, Hall of Fame, the GOAT, Tom Brady on the roster, that he can pick his brain and watch him work and pick up some little things from him. So that's kind of great for him signing. And it's a what is it, low risk, high reward kind of thing. Same thing with Leonard Fournette signing. You got a top 5 pick talent. You barely had to pay him much, and it can be either boom or bust, but there's no real cost. It's not really hurting them at all. So, like I said, low risk, high reward kind of deal. So I don't blame them. And they got rid of unfortunately got rid of a guy, Josh, who I only got to know real well, and the young quarterbacks didn't. So that's unfortunately that happened, but that's the way business goes. Hopefully he'll find somewhere else to get to, much like a lot of the young players will in this league. Big shout out to I know it's not Bucs related, but I'm a former teammate of mine, Carlos Lampkin, and his son Tyson Williams, as I told y'all before, came from BYU, came from South Carolina to BYU, made the roster, made the team over in Baltimore. That's his son. So looking forward to checking him out there, and keeping up to date with the Ravens, since they're a hot team right now. So big shout out to Tyson Williams. Good luck to you, young man. I remember when you was little, watching you and your dad play. When I was playing with your dad, when we were playing together, my rookie season. So, let me check this out. They talking about Lightning. No, yeah, of course, Lightning in 7. Ooh, you think it's gonna go Game 7? Buccaneers 26-16 in Super Bowl. That's interesting. Against who? He said, you heard it right here, folks. Said, did we pick up Josh Rosen? Yes, we did, Jimmy. He's on the practice team. Like I said, low risk, high reward. And he'll move up. We'll see. Nick Smith, what up, Blake? I think Rosen is a great addition to the team. Because they can't really argue it. Low risk, high reward. Guys want to talk? Like I said, I don't know what's going on with that phone. I did everything I needed to do. But there's other ways to do it. If you click that link that I posted in there and just turn your camera off and get it on here, just like a phone call, and we could talk. So if you need the link again, I'll be more than happy to send it to you. So I'll get you guys on here so I can hear you guys' voice, because it's very important to me to hear you guys. So that's pretty much it. We can get into Josh Rosen. There's not really much right now. He's just getting to the team, so he's getting acclimated in Tampa Bay and just figure out how that goes. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is Blake Anthony, and this is Sports Talk 49 live every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. Monday's doing post-game to the game. Sunday, Friday doing pregame, and we got a nice pregame Friday for you, talking about the Saints and all that. So pay attention now. I did a lot of work breaking down how the keys to victory in that game is going to be. So I'm excited to bring that to you. And we got Matt Colson that just popped in, so why not? We'll bring it. We'll talk about it. Let me bring him in here.
Is
Matt,
that working?
Yep, you're there, Matt. Well, you're live on Sports Talk 49. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, you covered most of what I was going to talk about while I was trying to figure out how to do this. But the Josh Rosen thing, how do you go from a first-round draft pick to whatever you're on your practice squad across the state?
Oh, you just talk about period how you fall like that. I mean, if you're gonna fall from the sky, that's like pretty much as far as it's gonna get. First top 10 pick, right? To fall to a practice squad, that's crazy, isn't it?
And he's getting millions of dollars because he's still getting owed money by Miami, from what I understand. I might have misread that, but it sounds like he's getting 2 checks.
It's quite possible. There's always those underlining things that people don't pay attention to. They still gets paid till a certain time period or something like that. But it's possible. Just like when the Bucs not just the Bucs, any team gets rid of coaches, the coach is still under contract and they're paying that coach while you got a new coach there. So that's quite possible that he might be collecting 2 checks, like he's got a pension or something.
No, it's a guaranteed money thing, and what I read quickly.
Yeah.
But I guess he's got a first year. What is it? 5 years on the contract for a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in the middle of that, and then he's going to be getting the practice squad. So Jason Light got him on the cheap But I'm curious as to why he fell so far. I don't remember him being injured or anything, and I just don't understand how you could possibly draft somebody that high, and the scouts and the guys on TV and the draft people all the way through the draft weekend were all high on him, and he's turned out to be worse than that guy in Chicago.
Oh,
Trubisky.
Trubisky. Hey, Trubisky still got a starting job.
Right. So what's up with that?
Just when you think it was over for Trubisky, he gets named the damn starter. How about that, right?
That was crazy. So it's 2020. That's what's going on. This is the year for this kind of nonsense to happen. And it keeps on going. I don't really know how to explain it. The other thing is the Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney, yep.
Yeah. He got signed yesterday by the Titans, right? So
wait till I give you a story on that about the skullduggery the Saints tried to pull. I can't wait.
Sideways on that. I didn't catch the article.
I can't wait to tell y'all. Oh, it tells me everything I need to know about the Saints.
Yeah, the headline was a trade pick, purchase pick or something, whatever you do in the NBA, where you bring a player in, let him open a locker, and then you trade him off before he's even got his shoes on. And that's the kind of thing they were going to do with Clowney, from what I grasped real quickly.
Yeah, you got a pretty good idea of it. Yep.
That's nuts.
They try to pull some NBA stuff, some slick stuff out there. It tells me everything I need to know. I said from the beginning, I think I haven't said it too many times on here, but I said before, something's going on in that Saints team, and I'm not just saying it because they're in the same division. I'm just saying it because when I get these feelings, these things, I got these feelings. No, I'm just kidding. I get these feelings that when something's amiss, and you just can't really explain it. It's a known unknown. When I roster, so when Kamara popped up, I was like, I'm not sure, because I was ready to say the Saints are going to win 10 games. But I'm almost there. I'm ready to say they're going to be 9-7 around in that area. I just think there's some type of disconnect on that team. I'm not sure where it is, but what it is. But the effort that they tried to get Jadeveon Clowney tells me something else is going on. Maybe somebody else is injured on that defensive line. There's something else going there. They're really trying to trade somebody, and they were trying to bring him in. Like something's going on there. There's something amiss in New Orleans still, and the effort that they tried to get Jadeveon Clowney is crazy. And when I break that all to you guys, break it down here after I'm done with Matt, it's crazy what they did, what they tried to do.
Well, you got to give them credit for being outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what made Jerry Jones a billionaire, was doing crazy stuff like that, and then it works out for you, and you look like you knew everything beforehand. And I was watching that last night on NFL TV, the 60-year anniversary of the Cowboys, and how I had forgotten, but how he signed Nike to sponsor the stadium, and how that disrupted the league and everything, and now everybody's doing it. That was all Jerry Jones, and that's the way you got to do stuff sometimes. It's a little bit off kilter to keep people on their toes. But and the other thing I wanted to ask you about was Josh McCown. Is that a COVID safety net where they're going to keep him at home? He's on the practice squad, part-time coach, doing it virtually from his home until they call him to come in and do something else, and he's getting paid for it. Have you heard about that and what they're doing?
I haven't seen any details about it, but it could possibly be that, man, the safety net, just in case some type of COVID breaks out. I'm sure every team is going to have some type of safety net like that, which really didn't surprise me with the Bucs and Josh Rosen. Depends on how what they're going to do with Griff, because it's clearly Blaine Gabbert's Brady's heir appearing COVID or any type of injury right now. I think everybody's in agreement with that Blaine Gabbert's the next guy up. But this could be a possibility. I know McCown could suit up. He's just removed 2 years ago from playing in Philadelphia, I believe was the last team he was on.
I thought he played last year. I just don't think he made it in a game. I thought he was
it's possible. McCown been around so long. I mean,
he was around since Staubach retired. I think one of him or his brother has been in the league since the 80s. It's crazy.
It is a family standing in the league for so long. Talking about experience in the league. Oh, you talk to them too.
Yeah. Now they just should pool their money and buy a team. Well, don't give them any ideas. Anyway, I I just wanted to touch base with you and ask about that Rosen thing. The more I got thinking about it, I was thinking that's a COVID safety net too. But I just don't understand how that man dropped like a rock like that. That's just
it is
not heard of.
When you say it the way like that, it's amazing. You're like, damn, yeah, he really did. It's like started from the bottom, now you're here. No, it was the exact opposite. Started up top, now you're down. Milo Jackson said something pertaining to that. He said they said he has problems processing info and reading the defense. It's not physical. That could possibly be it. How fast he processes it could be it. That could be it, Milo. It could be.
I thought Jameis had the mark on that. It was like,
well, that and he thinks he could force every ball in every situation. So you got that double sided to that. That's tough there. That's how you get 30 interceptions. But
there you go.
Yeah.
And you get to be a one and only club. I mean, I don't think anybody's ever going to make a 30-30 to match him.
Not anytime soon.
No, I don't see it. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it. Thursday night is when it all begins, and by Monday I should be football out and needing a break. But I'm looking forward to this weekend, and I hope we can pull something off in New Orleans to get things going right. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, when I talk about this Clowney thing, you got pretty much the idea of it. When I tell everybody else, New Orleans is really scared. New Orleans is really scared that they actually tried to pull this, and the league had to deny this trade. The league stepped in and denied this trade because it was illegal among the rules.
The league did.
The league stopped the trade. Correct.
How would it be illegal? What do they don't let you do the sign and trade?
Nope. Apparently, whatever they were trying to do, of course, it wasn't finalized because the league didn't do it, but they attempted to push it through, and the league denied it. So depending on what exactly stipulations they exactly crossed in that, the league turned that down.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's something else. So now Clowney's up there, and he's going to be in the run for the playoffs. So
he don't scare me. They say he's been missing training camp all offseason. No telling what kind of shape he is coming into Tennessee. So we'll see. Coming off a 3-sack season last year.
Wasn't he hurt last year? He's been hurt every year, I think.
Mr. 3-sack, that's what I call him now. Peter likes to call Antonio Brown Mr. Big Chest.
Right.
I call him 3-sack. That's what he is. Mr. 3-sack. Yeah.
Dances with the quarterback.
Yep. 3-sack dances with the quarterback. There you go, man. He came on to something.
All right, Blake, I'm going to let you go, man.
All right, brother. Appreciate you calling in.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Matt Cole says awesome. 3-sack dances with the quarterback. Oh, Jadeveon Clowney. You're just tuning in to Sports Talk 49 live on BucsReport.com every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. Mondays doing post-game. Fridays doing pre-game setup keys to victory to the next game. So Friday we'll be talking about breaking down winning in New Orleans. Fournette signs, gets the number 28. And I guess I wasn't going to go into that. Contract, look at my notes here. So much going on. If you don't have no notes, boy, you forget. It's based out, according to SpotTrack.com, Leonard Fournette's base salary is $2 million. Low risk, high reward. Why not? Why not? Where we at? Make sure to read the comments. Rick Hughes is in there. I'm going to make sure on the Clowney thing. All right. Let me read some of these comments. Then I'm going to get to the depth chart, and then we'll talk about Mr. Sneaky. We'll talk about the practice squad list that Nick Citro put on I'll post it up here. Nick Citro posted on Twitter, and we'll talk about the practice squad roster, the depth chart, the new 2019 depth chart. Most of it you'll know. You could probably guess who's going to be the starters, but there is a starter in there that you probably didn't think. Who will it be? Who will it be? Who will it come down to? Let me make sure I didn't miss the 49ers comments here. Kind of rolls off the tongue now. Can't remember who put that in. Keith made that up. He had 8 OCs since 2015. He must be talking about, oh no, a legend has stepped in the room. I thought a vibration in here like the T-Rex was coming. Let me get him in here. The legend, Rick Hughes, you're live on Sports Talk 49. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, the reason it was illegal all the shenanigans were illegal with New Orleans and Cleveland was Cleveland was going to sign him, pay him, I forgot the amount of money, like $5 million or something like that. Straight up, just pay him $5 million as like a signing bonus, and then immediately trade him to New Orleans. And New Orleans was going to pay them back in cash more than what they were signing him for. So basically, what was happening is it was going to go against Cleveland's salary cap, even though he was going to be on New Orleans. They were trying to good, interesting attempt. But I don't think they were shocked when they were denied. They were just trying to skirt the rules with the salary cap and make it look like it was going against Cleveland's cap. Cleveland has a bunch under the cap, and New Orleans was going to pay them more cash. So Cleveland was going to actually make money trading off salary cap.
Correct. Rick
in essence, selling off their salary cap.
Yeah, look, Rick came in here, stole my thunder. So I guess we'll talk about Clowney since Rick just wants to bust in here. Now you're good.
Oh.
Yep. Per Mr. Mike Triplett over there from ESPN, Clowney signed a 1-year, $15 million deal with the Saints. With the Titans, excuse me. The Saints tried to do a sign and trade, is what Rick just said. Sign and trade deal that would put the Saints under the salary cap, which they're in salary cap hell in 2021. We'll talk about that later as well. Put the Saints under the cap, but the NFL shut that down. The idea was for another team to sign Clowney, Browns, and pay his bonus, then immediately trade Clowney and his remaining salary to the Saints in exchange for a draft pick. So, and the short version is the other team would have been buying the Saints draft pick. It is rumored to be a second-round pick.
Right.
That they were auctioning off. So they were giving up and the hindsight longevity answer of what Rick just said and what I just read, the Browns were buying a draft pick.
And Cleveland was selling their cap space.
Yep. Which they are number one in the league in having, by the way, if I'm correct.
So that was all I wanted to hop in here and add that. I didn't know if you knew the details. Sorry to step in and
it's all good.
Steal your thunder.
He did. He came in there. He said, boom, in the room.
All right, man. You have a good one.
Hey, man, everybody's looking forward to seeing the Cheap Seats live Sunday, Rick.
Sunday. I'm excited. Sunday after the post wrap up show that Peter has after the game. The first Cheap Seats live from the Cheap Seats. It's going to be exciting.
Yep, we're looking forward to it.
All right. You have a good one.
You too, Rick. And without further ado, I'll make sure to get I don't even want to call her a guest anymore. We'll just call her a co-host. My sister from another mister, I don't know if she wants to announce, Allison, that's a special woman right there. She loves sports, and is so knowledgeable, and she's just fun to be around. When you get her, you can't help but to smile, and she's got some fire to her, like when you're feeling down, you can't help but get, pick yourself back up when she's around. If not, she'll kick you in the rear if you don't. So, she's that kind of girl, Mama raised her right, She said instead of putting on skirts, Mom told her to put on jeans, you know what I mean? Get out there with the boys and get dirty. But let me go ahead and bring her in here, and we'll talk about some of this stuff. Hey, Allison, good.
Hey,
how you doing?
I had no idea I was about to come on.
No idea. You just dropped in there just like Rick. You guys just jump in here. I guess that's how it works.
That was a great intro. I love that. My mom did tell me to put on jeans. She's like, get yourself dirty, girl. I'm like, okay, Ma.
She said, all right, that works.
Exactly.
All right. So we'll get you caught up to speed here. I know you got some stuff too, because there's always stuff going on up there in Pittsburgh. You got Miss Allison here, USA Today, Steelers Wire.
Yes.
Putting out all her content all over there. If you want to tell them where they can find it, we'll catch you up after that.
Sure, yeah. You can go to SteelersWire.com, and I'm just all over there, pretty much. I'm also on Facebook at writer Allison Kohler and Steelers Wire AK on Twitter. So I post my stuff pretty much all over Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. But Steelers Wire is the best place to go because it's all just right there in your face.
Right.
Yes.
It's right there. It's all there. All Allison all the time, 365.
Pretty much. They do have another writer, so I do have to say Kurt Popejoy. I have to give him props because Kurt he's all over it. He's just on top of things, and we've just been crushing it the past few days at Steelers Wire. So traffic has been insane after, of course, off season. Yeah, it's slow. You're writing about Juju Smith-Schuster dancing around in a onesie, as I think we've talked about before. You're writing about him posting videos on Instagram. I mean, that's pretty much what the off season consists of until training camp. So
you guys got Odell Beckham? Oh no, you said Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it really could be anybody. It's great to finally be writing. I mean, really tomorrow because the Steelers don't play until Monday night. We're not really getting into any Steelers Giants news until tomorrow. So, but it's great to finally be writing about an actual game. Like, it's so exciting.
It's like training, just like the players get tired of training camp. We get tired of trying to find minuscule content unless it's out there. So
right? Yeah.
So you finally just get to talk about football and what's going on in the game and injuries, et cetera. Now you get another intangible in COVID stuff, because I'm sure that's going to pop up some point this year for some team, and that's going to be a hot talk. I listened to a Jordan Schultz interview with on IG with Gronk, and he talked about that, and that was interesting. I could probably put that up here if I could put it over here if I didn't already, if people want to hear it. But anyway, we'll get into that another time. We talked about Rosen to the practice squad. I know you're probably not going to have too much input on Rosen. I know, but Matt asked a great question. What do you think? He's like, how do you go from a top 10 pick to a practice squad? I mean, is there any further fall than just being cut, period?
I don't think so. I feel bad. I feel for the guy. It's like he's had so many coordinators in however long. I don't know. I can't remember the year he was drafted, but I mean, it seems like 20 years ago. You know what I mean? But it's like, man, he hasn't gotten a fair shake, and I do feel like, hey, man, learning from Tom Brady. Like, that's really, the best you can get in terms of, if you're on a practice squad, why not be learning from Tom Brady?
Right.
He had to be pretty excited about that.
And Milo brings up another good point I didn't even think about. Milo Jackson says, in all honesty, you have to remember Josh Rosen's rookie year, Byron Leftwich was the OC, and they're running the same scheme they ran in Tampa right now. So I don't think that it's a lot because it's a lost cause. Oh, I mean, I agree. I don't think anybody said lost cause, but that's a pretty good point you bring up, Milo. Yeah, you're right. Leftwich was there around that time when he first came in. He was the OC. So he does have familiar faces in Tampa Bay. So yeah, that's a good point. But as I said earlier, signed him to a practice squad, low risk, high reward. Same thing with Leonard Fournette. $2 million base salary, low risk, high reward. You're not really hurting. You didn't give him any draft collateral for either one of these guys. I mean, why not?
It'll be interesting to see how Tampa Bay decides. Did they release their week 1 depth chart yet?
Yes, they did. I was going to talk about that too.
Let's talk about it.
Yep. Let me bring it up here. Let me pull it up. All right, we'll start with the defense, folks. As like I said, most of these you already know who the starters are going to be, so it's not going to be that entertaining. But defense, there's a shocker that's managed to creep in there. So we'll start with the offense. Offense from top to bottom. Wide receiver spot 1, Mike Evans. Tight end, Rob Gronkowski, Donovan Smith, Ali Marpet, Ryan Jensen, Alex Kappa, Tristan Wirfs, O.J. Howard, Chris Godwin, Tom Brady, and Ronald Jones as the starters, just like Bruce Arians said. But that could be subject to change, miss a block or something crazy. But as I know everybody's saying, oh, Leonard Fournette doesn't know the playbook. Let me talk about that a little bit. You don't need to know a playbook to know how to run a dive. You don't need to know a playbook to know how to run a zone, a tall sweep. The number, anybody that's ever played football, you know that on the left the numbers are odd, and on the right the numbers are even. So it's pretty much in the rest of the gaps. So he knows how to do that. Now, if you want to get into specialty plays, yes, he's going to have to learn all of that. And Fournette knows how to pass block, so I don't think it's going to be, that much difference. What you think, Allison?
Right. Yeah. I mean, Fournette's going to come in and he'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Take on it. Man, I told Blake today we were discussing what we were going to talk about on the show today, and I was, my brain just feels like it's been melted. Like the past couple days we've just been churning it out, and today I went to write up my first post, and I was like, the team jumped the fence.
What?
And I was like, I mean, it wasn't quite that sentence, but still, that's what I felt like. I was like, oh my gosh, like I just burned myself out the past couple days. But yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that Leonard Fournette, he'll have to, it's week 1, so he'll have time to learn the playbook. But like you said, he's been doing what he's been doing, and he'll just continue to do it.
Yep. Yep. It's like I said, he knows how to, what gaps to run, that basic football stuff. He'll be fine with that. Mm-hmm. I think the other guys will get a lot of the burn first, but Leonard Fournette should see some carries. And then the defensive depth chart, Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea, William Golston, JPP, Devin White, Levante David, Shaquille Barrett, Carlton Davis, corner number 1 spot, corner number 2 spot. SMB, Sean Murphy-Bunting is the number 2 spot. And then the shocker starter, maybe not, maybe he is. Antoine Winfield Jr. was named the starter, rookie. Antoine Winfield Jr. was named the starter, along with the other starter, Jordan Whitehead.
Huh. Well, you know what? Good for rookie starter, man, because that's, especially given the abbreviated off season, that's not an easy thing to do unless they really were horrible in training camp at that position. I don't really know, but yeah, I mean that's something awesome. That's really great that he was named the starter.
Absolutely, he was named the starter in a shortened off season, as you say, no preseason. So obviously these extra coaches have helped, because if he was able to turn the speed down in the game that much and was that comfortable enough to be named starter from, I don't think Todd Bowles or Bruce Arians is going to sugarcoat anything and throw him in there for the simple fact of politics, which I don't think they do, which right. A lot of teams do. But
doo-doo.
Yep, doo-doo. He said doo-doo. Duty. It was their duty to name the correct guy in there. So it's going to be fun. But it's going to be a rotation anyway. Between the safety, there'll be sometimes with 3 safeties on the field, and it all depends on game plan and things like that.
All that jazz.
And we were talking about practice squad earlier. Nick Citro did put up that guy. I ain't gonna get into much detail. I wanted to make sure I put that up for you guys. That was the practice squad list. My guy Tanner Hudson managed to make it on there. Told you he's gonna be the future of the tight ends when Rob Gronkowski and OJ Howard are gone. Oh, that's Pittsburgh stuff. I want to put that up. Yeah.
I was gonna say that looks familiar.
And I was talking about Saints and the Jadeveon Clowney. I don't know if you heard that part, but we'll get into that. I just wanted to make sure to show you guys all the 2021 salary cap free agents next year for the Saints. And look at that list of players. And Saints are already hurting for cap. And there's a lot of names on there, a lot of starters, a lot of quality, being Alpha, Kamara, DeMario Davis, Jared Cook. Sheldon Rankin's a guy I love that came out of the draft, P.J. Williams, Marcus Williams, and the names like that. Saints are in some real trouble in cap in 2021, and the Saints might be the Saints of old and not the Saints of new, and they don't get their salary cap situation straight out there. But I don't know, did you hear me on the Clowney thing, what the deal the Saints tried to pull?
Just a little bit. I mean, I read about it. It seemed kind of like complicated to me, and then I heard you and Rick talking, and it made more sense to me. But wow,
that's more seen in NBA. Like Rick said, you're trading cap, and the league denied that per the source, Mike Triplett from ESPN. The league shut that down. So
right.
they essentially tried to sell off money for picks. I mean, the Browns did. The Browns had the most cap in the league, so they tried to pay for the Saints' second-round pick. And then in return, they would sign Clowney, take on that $5 million, whatever it was, signing bonus, then trade back the remaining salary that Clowney would, the rest of the money in the contract, and they would take that on while freeing up some cap, because the Saints it would put the Saints under the cap with that move, and the NFL just nixed that.
Mm-hmm. Shenanigans. I tell you, man, Sean Payton is always trying to pull something. He's a sneaky mofo.
And then the fact that they would try to do that obviously they are really concerned on pass rush. If they're really trying to, it says a lot what's going on in there. As I've said several times, there's some disconnect in New Orleans, and it's going to come out eventually. Kamara came out the first time already. Mm-hmm. We're saying it's contract related, but we'll see. The only time will tell when this team starts losing. You'll start hearing more of what's going on because people's mouths don't stay shut when you're losing. So I think you know that all too well in Pittsburgh with some drama queens, the Golden Girls that left out of there.
The Golden Girls, that's awesome.
That's nice. That's a nice way to put it.
Right.
The Golden Girls. I know Steelers fans will have some choice words for them. So let's get to the comments. Unless you got anything you want to roll real quick while I read in here, Allison.
Roll with the comments, man. Those are always fun.
Yep. Matt says, I wonder what the limit is for Clowney playing the entire season. I bet, over under 9. Yeah, because Matt says he's always hurt. He is. I call him Mr. 3 sacks, dancing with the quarterback, as Matt says. He 3 sacked, $15 million. Woo, that's nice. 3 sacks and get $15 million. Hey, Shaq Barrett, are you getting that much? And you put up 19 and a half?
I drafted Shaq in my fantasy football league for defensive player, of course.
Yeah, those are always fun when you get that one defensive guy.
Yeah, that's fun.
I see 28 taking at least 50% of the touches by the week. I like how you did that, Milo, instead of saying his name. It is much easier to say 28 than Leonard Fournette. It is crazy to type. We'll see. Only time will tell. I believe it's going to be all game plan and how comfortable Leftwich and BA want to put him in.
Mm-hmm. And vegetarians, even if he's not gonna say anything. No,
they're not gonna give away anything. Mm-hmm. I was shocked, last time when we talked, I was like, Belichick's not gonna name the starter. He's gonna wait to the last minute as close as he can, and then he finally released that Cam Newton was gonna be the starter.
Right.
I was like, I was funny that we were talking about that, and then you finally said he finally released that Cam Newton was gonna be. So I think everybody kind of figured that out anyway. I don't think anybody thought the young kid that they got out there was going to make any noise out there, hence why they brought in a veteran to begin with.
Right.
So, all right. So, there was something else I had on here for you. Let me make sure I got everything, because you know how we do.
We can talk about Cam Hayward if you want.
Oh, absolutely. Steelers was definitely going to be in there. Well, we can talk about the Hayward contract extension, 4-year. We both saw this coming. Didn't shock me. I'm sure it didn't shock you. He's a Steeler guy. So go ahead, Allison, break that down if you want to break it down.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there was some talk actually 2 or 3 weeks ago where contract talks had kind of stalled. So Steelers Nation was a little bit concerned because, they hadn't really been discussing it very much. And historically, the Steelers have kind of waited until the week of the first game of the season, like they did with Joe Hayden and Stephon Tuitt in the past. So it wasn't that much of the timing of it wasn't that much of a surprise as it was. They could have easily, kind of waited to see what happened. And, but thankfully they didn't. So essentially what happened was last night, news broke that the Steelers were going to sign defensive tackle Cam Hayward to a 5-year, $71.5 million contract, which, it's pretty huge. It's definitely the biggest contract that the Steelers have done. So Hayward's now the highest paid defensive lineman in the league over the age of 30. So that's really good news, that he's locked up and they can move on to, their next steps, whatever that may be. And apparently this news out of Pittsburgh is that they may still sign another player internally, like one who's already with the team, to a new contract this week. So everybody's sort of speculating in who that might be. It could be, because again, it's sort of like with the Bucs, the Steelers have, I want to say, like 16 16 free agents in 2021, and I want to say like 5 or 6 of them are high priority. So they're going to have some really tough decisions to make. But I sort of feel like that may end up going to Mike Hilton, their cornerback, because he's playing on a really cheap deal right now. So I sort of feel like that's where the money may go. But there's so many. Their offensive tackle, Alejandro Villanueva, who's like 7'2" or something. It's crazy. He may end up a tackle again. I mean, you really need to be able to hold down those guys that are protecting Ben. So
what you're trying to say is Cam Hayward got paid.
That's awesome.
So you're trying to say he got paid? Maybe not in Blake dollars. Maybe not in Blake dollars. Maybe not in Blake dollars or Bison dollars from Street Fighter, but he got paid. And you got Alice.
Again, I want to catch him.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. Money,
there we
money,
go.
money. Show me the money.
Oh. That's awesome.
Right.
I love it.
You know, we got to have fun here, especially coming to the season. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yep. Like I said, I wasn't shocked that he got signed. He gets to stay with Stephen Truitt. He gets to stay with they just Bud's still there. Bud Dupree, guy like remember young Bud out of Kentucky, still there on the team. Shined last season, played really well. It's shocking that Joe Hayden is still there. It's a name. It's like his name flies under the radar. You even forget to mention his name when you say. I was like, oh damn, I forgot all about Joe Hayden.
Right, yeah, he's really
so
underrated.
Quiet. He's always been like he's just so quiet.
Mm-hmm.
All them years in poverty out there in Cleveland, finally gets to go to Pittsburgh and play some good defense out there. And then Mika Fitzpatrick, as I told you, that was the guy, the trade that you guys needed. That was the Pittsburgh guy. And I didn't see that was made night and day changes coming over. I think it had like that he was on a string where he had like an interception like every game. I think it was like 3 games with a pick at one point.
Yeah. They did eventually, teams eventually stopped throwing in his direction. Which frustrated him a lot because it's like, oh man, I want to make plays and I can't make plays if teams aren't throwing in my direction. But yeah, so I think this year he may end up. There's been some debate on whether they're going to move him around or not. I think they should. I think that would be the smart decision. But right now, they're saying they're not going to move him around. So it's like, okay, yeah.
They did that at Alabama, so I doubt you'll do that. And why not use a player to their strengths? That'd be just stupid. Robert McClyer says Steelers are just cheap as F.
As F.
F. I think every team wants to be cheap if they can.
Right. Yeah.
I'll tell you, till Ben comes off their roster, you're going to see them squeezing pennies as much as they can.
Right.
And just like Tampa Bay, just like New Orleans. So nobody's going to try to do no dirty dealings like New Orleans, as we talked about earlier. But that's what it is. What is it? Noel Garcia, I truly believe the biggest positive this season is Brady's ability to manage the clock with a potent running game, ice the opposition's offense on the bench, keeping the defense fresh. That would be nice and would help the pass rush if they ain't got to be on the field majority of the game. I think you could say that for any team, but if you're talking about Tampa Bay specifically, that'll be something the Tampa Bay defense hasn't had in a while, is to be fresh and come out like that. Your thoughts on that, Alison?
What?
Having a quarterback that's going to sustain drives and not have the defense on the field so they can stay fresh and come out and perform better. Like I said, I think you can put that equation for any team.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think that's why, thankfully, we have Ben back. And I think that the Steelers defense, their numbers may not be as high this year because they're not going to be on the. The Steelers. I don't know what the numbers were, but there were a lot of 3-and-outs last year.
Right.
Because of Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. So the defense, man, they kicked some butt because they were on the field all the time. And this year, I don't. Thankfully, I don't foresee that happening. So I sort of feel like their defense may, while they'll still be solid and they'll probably still be one of the best in the league, the numbers just, they won't be there like they were last year.
No, and hopefully not. If you're not on the field, I don't think any of them will complain. They'll be out there longer, risking getting injury, playing too long on the field. So it's pluses to everywhere.
No doubt.
If you guys are just tuning in, you got Blake Anthony, Miss Allison Kohler from USA Today, Steelers Wire. I'll see if we can get Allison here. She'll be here as much as he can on Mondays and Fridays now, 3 p.m. with the season now. The training camp wheels are off. Season is on, just like Allison. Me and Allison were up late last night. She talked about she was writing, eyes hurting. I'm getting ready for all this content, getting ready for my stuff Friday with the Saints. So when you guys don't see us, we're out here constantly trying to get stuff ready for you guys and get stuff to talk about, because I know how important sports is to myself, and so and being in your guys' shoes, fans and listeners and everybody that look at our stuff like that, we want to make sure that you guys are getting the best that we got and getting information out, because it's fun all around, to have hobbies and things like that. But we'll get back to that and talk some more Steelers stuff, and we'll talk some more other team stuff. We're going to go to a quick break with the ad with our sponsors, the Deck Bar and Grille at Isla del Sol and mycannabiscard.com, and we'll return and talk about all that while I get some more water, because I look like, again, my mouth is dry out of donuts, and we'll be back here in a short moment, folks. And just like that, we're back. So on Sports Talk 49, live on Bucs Report every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. Mondays doing post game, Fridays doing pre-game. I'm here with Allison. We're going to talk some more around the league stuff, because I know she's got plenty of it, and I love talking to other teams as well. It's fun to talk about other stuff than the Buccaneers. That's why I call it Sports Talk 49, as we talk about all sports, talk about all teams. There's not one genre of anything like that. And if you don't know where to find most of my content, you can find it here, right here at Blake Anthony 49 live. Well, yeah, it's live on Twitter as well. It's on all platforms. Blake Anthony 49 on Twitter. Make sure to follow me on there. You can comment to me. I'll comment back usually all the time. I usually don't ignore anything. Talking all types of stuff, fun stuff, poking fun at each other, all that type of stuff. We get Allison back on here. There she goes.
Hi, yeah, it's fun to poke fun at people. I mean, as long as it's all in good fun and it makes for good debates and things.
Well, I think we're in an era, now that people just can't agree to disagree without being mad at each other anymore.
Yeah, man.
It's no fun agreeing with somebody all the time.
Right? Can you imagine? It'd be like the Stepford Wives. I mean, we'd all be like robots.
Yep. I know you said you had some interview with some players. That's why I had this. I wanted to bring it up. I just got to put notes up here for myself. This list here, Pittsburgh practice squad. That's what I had up here. I'm not sure. Were you able to interview any of these folks? I remember you said you had some interviews with some of the undrafted players or some of the players they drafted.
No, I actually didn't. I didn't have any luck. In fact, I actually don't reach out to agents during the season. I sort of feel like they've got, a bigger fish to fry than just doing interviews and things like that. They have enough in terms of having to speak with Steelers media and Pittsburgh area media. So I really just saved that for the off season.
Right.
But I did interview Jerome Bettis last week.
Awesome.
As well as Ryan Shazier. They were for Ryan Shazier has this Pepsi campaign called Every Game is a Home Game.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sweet. So there was this father and son duo in Pittsburgh who have been season ticket holders forever and a day. And last year, the father couldn't go to games because he was going through cancer treatments. So he wasn't able to go. And then this year, who knows what's going to happen with home games in Pittsburgh. So what Pepsi did, along with the NFL, was they show the grounds crew unscrewing the seats that they sat in with their season tickets, and Ryan and a couple of guys, obviously one guy can't take up two seats, but Ryan was walking up the street with a couple people with the seats behind him and just knocked on the guy's door and like, hey, we're bringing the game to you. So it was really cool to be able to see the dad and his son sitting in the seats in their living room. It was a pretty awesome story. So, and then cool. Just had some kind of DraftKings. He's got this thing going with DraftKings called Beat Bettis Challenge. Mm-hmm. So essentially, it's a weekly try and beat Jerome Bettis in fantasy football, and you can win cash and prizes. So that's essentially what the interview was. But Bettis was able to, give me some insight and he thinks that the Steelers, if Ben comes back 75, 80%, he thinks that they're definitely a playoff contender. If Ben plays like he never has before, which I guess is always possible. 2018, he did have a career season. So even though he's 38, that wasn't that long ago. Mm-mm. So he sort of believes that if Ben comes back at a high level, that they could make a push for the Super Bowl. So obviously Jerome Bettis is a little biased, but he is an analyst now. So he's no longer a Steeler, obviously. So that's just kind of his authentic kind of take. I think since he's not with the Steelers anymore, he could easily be like, yeah, they suck. They're not going to be doing anything this year, but he didn't go that route. So
I think he might have went there if Duck Dodgers was the quarterback.
Right, yeah.
As long as Ben's there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No
I think the coolest thing since we're talking Pittsburgh and Jerome Bettis, one of my favorite players in the NFL, was when Jerome, I think the Pittsburgh lost the playoffs. I can't remember to who. And Ben took over the starting job that season. And Jerome was deciding to retire. And Ben told Jerome that, hey, come back another year. I guarantee you we'll win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. He won the Super Bowl in his hometown in Detroit. Let him come out by himself, out there. It was just a pretty cool experience that what a real team atmosphere looks like and when guys band together. I mean, it's just awesome to see that. Like I said before, I've always admired the Steelers from afar, just the organization and how they get their kind of guys and things like that. But I thought that was pretty cool. I know I cover the Bucs a lot, but like I said, first and foremost, I'm a fan of the game. Mm-hmm. And I just admire seeing things like that and Ben basically calling the Super Bowl that year, and then they actually do it.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great story. Even you talking about it just now gave me chills because they were 6th seed. I mean, they came out of the playoffs just barely, and to end up winning it all. I mean, it truly was an amazing story. And like you said, to be able to do it in Detroit, in Jerome Bettis' hometown, I mean, it really doesn't get much better than that. That's for sure.
It surely does not.
Mm-hmm.
Robert says something to Steelers. I see this. Not like the Steelers, though. They lost Wallace, Sanders, and other great receivers because they don't want to pay up. I wouldn't say lost. I don't think they were going to sign them for the money they were looking for, and rightfully so. Mm-hmm. You have other areas that you have to address with salary cap, and the Steelers have shown their regimen is to have a nice power back in the backfield, run the ball, go vertical, extend plays and go vertical. They usually have a decent tight end that's kind of fell by the wayside for the past couple of years. They usually use Heath Miller is good for a lot of years, and I think the tight end play, in my opinion, has dissipated for
Oh, no doubt.
what it used to be, because it used to be to run the ball, feed the ball to the tight end, especially in the red zone, and get the ball vertical to those speedy wideouts. But Allison said this before, the Steelers list goes on compared to what kind of receivers they like. They like those 6'4" receivers, Plaxico Burress, Lyman Swede kind of guys that they try to get in there. And then the rookie they just picked up, same build, same. They're all the same. It's going to be hard to find, another Hines Ward, not a speedy guy, but that guy was just a man. Like
he was all around. Like you talk about an all-around wide receiver. I mean, he's a blocker. I think he threw a couple touchdowns. It's it just never ended with Hines. And like you said, he was so special that he's irreplaceable. Not that they're even trying to replace him, but I just feel like Steelers Nation is sort of like, where's our next Hines Ward? And it's, the Steelers just, they don't think like that, as an organization. And going back to Mike Wallace, they ended up giving the money to Antonio Brown instead.
Yep.
So I think that was a pretty good trade. Mike Wallace, I mean, he was an awesome receiver.
Yeah.
And he ended up going on and having a great career. I don't know where he's at now, if he's doing very much at all, but for a while there, for several years, with the Ravens, and I think with the Dolphins.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he put up some really nice numbers, so I'm happy for him. But and Sanders did the same thing. He ended up going elsewhere, and now he's with the Saints, and so we'll see, what magic he can make with Drew Brees, or not magic, since this is a Bucs Report show. We don't want them to make magic.
They can't. They're in the AFC, so it doesn't bother me.
Right. Yeah.
The Steelers are not going to overpay because they're not going to give up that money. They're not going to give up all that money. The Steelers,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Not going to do it.
I think one of the takeaways from Cam Hayward's contract is there was already speculation that they weren't going to be able to afford to give Juju Smith-Schuster a new contract, and I think now that kind of put the nail in the coffin. So I definitely don't expect Juju to be back, next season. But again, it's not a thing of talent. It doesn't. If it were talent, they would pay. If they would pay him what he's worth if they had the money, but they just won't.
And I think that was the first question you asked when you started coming on here, guest co-hosting, is what's up with Juju Smith-Schuster? And it's funny that the chickens have come to roost on that. I don't think they're gonna re-sign him, and rightfully so. I mean, in my opinion, he did well early, but when he was called to action, he just didn't quite deliver. So we'll see.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I actually put together. I thought it would be kind of interesting. I mean, the Steelers usually aren't very bold when it comes to draft trades or in-season trades, but they traded up to get Devin Bush the year before last, and last year, they traded in season to get Minka. So
awesome trade.
They're doing un-Steeler-like things lately. So I thought, well, what would be what's the next thing that the Steelers could end up pulling? So I put together 7 potential in-season trade suitors for Juju Smith-Schuster, because the way I look at it, and I stress in season, because it could be one of those situations where Deontay Johnson, James Washington, Chase Claypool all have to have a very good first 2 or 3 games in order for the Steelers to want to trade Juju. But I think they would be better off trading him if they don't intend to keep him. And I think they already know that they already know whether he's going to be a Steeler beyond 2020 or not. So I sort of feel like, why not try and go ahead and get something for him while they can, versus just getting nothing for him and letting him walk via free agency. So I put together a list of 7 potential trade suitors, and again, there's a lot of teams out there who are hard up for wide receivers and could end up, depending on how Juju, and again, it's all speculation. If he starts off the season and he does great, they could end up getting a second round, maybe packaged with a future pick, maybe a later round pick. So it'll be really interesting to see, what happens there. Personally, they're probably not going to do anything with him, but I feel like it would be wise, if they at least, and maybe they have already been talking to teams and we just don't know yet. But it would be nice to get something for him than to not.
Absolutely, and him playing well works out for both sides. Him playing well work out for the Steelers because he'll have trade value. Him playing well work out for himself because he creates more value in himself to get paid later on, because I believe he's in his contract year, if I'm mistaken, right? This is contract year for him. Yep, so it works out for both sides. Like you said, these young guys come out here and play well, then that could possibly be an option. And as I was whispering, as you were saying, I was saying the Jets need a wide out badly. They just drafted
uniting with Le'Veon. I mean, that would be so cute.
Oh God, yeah. Well, yeah, Le'Veon. Yeah, it was Brown that was the one that was saying the crazy stuff about him. So I don't think he'll have a real issue with Le'Veon. But yes, it would be a Steeler reunion in New York.
Yep, there could be.
So it's all based. It's crazy how all these decisions and stuff like that come off of cap stuff like that when people got to move around. Hence why I always say the rent a QB thing. It seems like with all these quarterback market going up, it's going to hurt your team all around. That's why I've said I'd rather pay for a QB for, a game manager or somebody like that, or to have a rookie for the first 5 years. And then, if the contract's too much, don't sacrifice the integrity of the entire team for one guy. And we'll see how that turns out. We'll see if I'm right with the Chiefs coming up, with them paying basically Mahomes half a billion dollars. And that big contract he just signed. It won't really take place now, but in the future, it should be interesting how that's going to look.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and like we said, I think it was last week when Lamar Jackson, comes up, the Ravens look really awesome now, and the Chiefs look really awesome now, but eventually are going to have to trim the fat, in order to pay their quarterbacks. So.
And the Ravens' defense is disgusting, and you're not going to be able to keep all those guys if you got to pay your quarterback that kind of money.
Right.
So where do you draw the line?
Exactly.
Quarterbacks. Robert says, "Do I think the Bucs should go after Cap?" There's no room on the roster, honestly, and that's not even with the whole kneeling thing. I know where you're getting at. There's just no room right now on the roster, and picking up Josh Rosen. Do I think Cap should probably have a job somewhere? Yeah, I do. I think he's better than Duck Dodges. Than some other quarterbacks like that. Absolutely. I'm planning on coming out Sunday. Oh, you coming out to the deck? We'll look forward to seeing you, Christopher Cole. We'll be there. Milo, I think the Bucs will be able to maul teams with running backs this year. Tristan Wirfs, Gronk, Godwin blocking 225 freight train. Downhill. Keep in mind, 28 has never played for a team without a stacked box. Hey, a lot of backs haven't. If that's your key weapon, just ask Adrian Peterson, who also took the job to the Detroit Lions. So we'll see how the legacy of Adrian Peterson continues on to another team, Detroit. Speaking, we talking about
Detroit. I mean, geez, talk about. I mean,
die there.
Now Detroit, it's like, oh God, what is it?
Washington teams die in Detroit. Just like, remember, everybody was like DeAndre Swift. Who drafted him? The Lions. The Lions drafted him. We'll see how that goes. Robert McGuire, he had his best year when AB was there. That was what AB was saying. That's what he was saying before when he was throwing shade at him. Doubt it. D is too weak. I'm not sure what he's talking about. New Orleans was trying to give up a draft pick. Basically, they were buying New Orleans draft pick. Why the NFL shut it down? Can't do that. Yep, that's basically they were selling off their draft pick to also free up cap to a team that has the biggest cap in the league, well, the most cap, I should say. Yeah, it was a interesting move they tried to do, and to my opinion, it's pretty desperate. And it's like I said before, something's going on there that we haven't heard about, and it will come out. What is done in the dark shall come to the light, as they always say. It will come out. Yeah. What else you got for me, Alice? I know you up on that. I know you got something good.
I think we were gonna talk about the Thursday night game and a little bit, right?
Yep, the Thursday night game. Refresh my memory. Who is playing?
Houston and Kansas City.
Yep, Houston and Kansas City. Who do you got?
Well, I mean, I think the reason why I laugh is because I think we both got Kansas City. Houston, again, it's going to be hard for you and I to appropriately, predict these outcomes for the first couple of weeks because we don't know what these teams are going to do. We have an idea of what they're going to do. Houston may come out and tear up, Mahomes and his crew, but it's highly doubtful. It's highly doubtful. I think it could be a high scoring game in Thursday night. So it's a great game. I mean, would I've liked to see Kansas City play somebody other than Houston? Yes.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to be greedy because I just am excited that there's going to be football on. That's all.
Yeah, that's exactly what Rick Hughes has always said. He's like a kid in a candy shop. He's just so excited that football.
Mm-hmm.
You're not talking COVID anymore, doom and gloom, as Peter would say. You're actually talking about football. We're talking about practice. Well, we're talking about football now. And so it's exciting with all that. But, yeah, anything could happen in a game. Mahomes can come out flat, much like he did in the Super Bowl. Team could come out flat, penalties. You're gonna see bad football from some teams. Not all teams are gonna be bad. And what I mean is penalties, false starts, holding to just mental. I should just say mental penalties. There you go. You're gonna see a lot of mental penalties out earlier. Just as Ben Jarvis said, preseason helps you work out the kinks and all that, and communication and little things like that. Because you don't have to worry about crowd noise in some stadiums, but I'm not sure if they was approved or not for to approve crowd noise in and things like that. But it's going to be different with that. So Houston could have a chance to pull it off. As far as I know, Houston's offensive line isn't any better than it was last year, and the Chiefs has a hellacious pass rush with not D Ford, but Christian Jones and the gang out there, and I forget his name, young kid out of Seattle that they traded for, but they have a pretty good pass rush there in Kansas City, and Deshaun Watson should be under duress and have to rely on his legs. Deshaun Watson pretty much downgraded at wide receiver with the Houston trading away DeAndre Hopkins to Arizona.
Right.
So it's going to be really interesting to see that game, and as you said, the best. I'll just be happy to see football. Right.
But you're right. They're more than anything, there's going to be a lot of penalties. Those referees are going to be tired at the end of the game. So the players are going to be excited. And again, they haven't had any preseason, so they haven't had a chance to work out any of the kinks or anything like that. So there's probably going to be a lot of penalties, but it'll be exciting to see. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm right. It will be. It'll be just exciting just to hear the guys broadcast the game. It's just so exciting. Oh, well, Alex, I ain't gonna keep you much longer. I know you got stuff to do. We've been on here rapping for a while, and I'm glad I go to 3 p.m. because we can run overtime a little bit now and talk about extra stuff that we got going on.
Right, yeah, man. There's gonna be a lot of stuff going on, no doubt, with the season getting underway.
I'm not sure what you got going on Friday. Of course, you're always welcome here Friday. It'll be more Bucs specific, but I'm sure you're fine with that as long as we're talking football. Exactly. Talking about breaking down the game to New Orleans. I don't know if you want to hear it. If you want to hear Gronk's take on if you want to hear his take on COVID, and if they kept you want to hear it?
Yeah, why not?
All right, because Jordan Schultz, if you follow him on IG, Jordan Schultz, he interviews all types of players, tennis, NBA, NFL, and he just basically sits on IG and just talks to him just like you would. You and I are just sitting there having a beer talking. And then I thought I heard him, he had to repeat it twice, so I was lucky to record that part before he asked, why he asked the question, because Gronk didn't hear him at first, but it was a specific question on his concern with catching COVID. So I thought it was interesting to hear that. So here we go, I'm going to play the audio. Give me 1 second, folks. Here we go.
Well, just because you're playing, you're traveling, you're around a lot of people, do you ever worry as someone who cares so much about your body that you could be vulnerable?
I mean, it's definitely an eye-opening, definitely for sure. But I mean, I believe if you take care of yourself, you take care of your health and everything, it'll pay off, and be able to fight whatever comes your way. I mean, I'm not going to say that you're totally immune to anything, but if you take care of yourself, you eat the right foods, you stay hydrated, your body's going to do a lot better job for you than if you're, deteriorating your body, or if you're punishing your body and you're just not putting the right fuel in your body. But I mean, the NFL is so safe right now; it's unbelievable. I mean, the testing that they're doing, they're making us wear masks all over the place. Going to the away games, that we're going to be wearing masks. Obviously everything's going to be sanitized. Here, we're basically in our own little bubble. We're not in a bubble, but we're in a commitment bubble that we just made as a team. And, everything's just so sanitized and safe. You got to get your temperature checked before you go in the building. It just feels like a safe atmosphere. You don't feel worried at all, being in the NFL right now. Everything's just so safe. You're getting tested every single day. So there's no worries, and it's not good to worry about it either. So
no, it's not.
Feels like, it's not. We just feel good. Everyone that goes in, no one's worried about it. It feels really safe. And that's what's cool, is that we can just go in and work hard and play football. And that's what it's all about.
What about your favorite from an entertainment standpoint? You had
Yeah, and that was one of the questions that Donovan Smith was so worried about his newborn baby. And we're going to say that the key part I heard in all that was not just the COVID part. The key part, I'm sure you heard it too, was the commitment to the bubble among the players. That was the key part to all of that. I know it was a little, elongated talk, but that's the key part. He said they made a commitment to each other, to commitment to the bubble and staying safe, which you're going to see in the league where there's going to be guys that aren't going to do that, much like Isaiah Wilson with the Tennessee Titans going out there partying. That's not a commitment to the team. And he's not going to be the only one. And I know we've argued about this, not you, but some of the guys from BR and in the group. I said it's going to be tough trying to tell a 21-year-old man to sit in the house and do absolutely nothing. That's came from poverty and has got money in his pocket, and to just sit in the house like he's 35 years old with a family and the kids. I'm like, I know Peter always says, well, what do you want to be, a football player? You want to be that? I get that. But if somebody at 21 years old doesn't know that yet, they don't know that yet. Like some do, some are focused, and some will do that. But it's really tough trying to tell somebody that age or that kind of in that life situation to stay at home.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're young kids. I mean, sure, they're not kids anymore by age, but just mentally, I mean, they're fresh out of college, where they partied hard and to come into the NFL. I mean, it's a totally different experience, totally different, atmosphere. They don't know yet. They just don't know everything in terms of being a professional player. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some players that are going to have a hard time, sticking to that commitment bubble, because I'm sure all the other teams have done the same, internally in terms of, we may not have an official bubble here in the NFL, but we're going to try our best to stay away from situations that could be harmful to us. And it's the NFL, they had the luxury of watching other leagues, restart and sort of watch what the steps that they took and, the mistakes that they made and the things that they did right. So I think the NFL definitely benefited from that, and they've done a fantastic job so far. And I know that they are carrying the daily testing into the season. In fact, the only day that they're not going to be testing tier 1 and tier 2 players are on game day. Mm-hmm. Was really interesting that they're not going to be testing them on game day. So essentially what they're going to be doing is testing them 8:30 the morning before. So for a Sunday game, they're going to be tested 8:30 on Saturday morning. So it's going to be interesting to see, how that plays out. And that's just until further notice. I mean, they're always sort of leaving it open because it is so expensive. I can't imagine the millions and millions of dollars that the league is spending on testing and for safety and health protocols, but they're going to continue it until further notice. And I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see them scaling back on it at all as the season goes on, because, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I sort of feel like, as expensive as I'm sure it is, it's better that they pay for it, and take the precautions than to get comfortable and scale back and then have a big mess on their hands.
I think you've said that well, better than anybody. That's key.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you put out some pretty good information too. If maybe some people didn't ask, but that is a good question. Mm-hmm. If somebody were to ask about, we said, when will they test? Will they test on game day? Mm-hmm. Broke it down there. They'll test on Saturday rather than the game day. You'll know before going hand. It's going to be that's going to be an interesting part as far as like fantasy football and sports gambling and things like that. Especially with the test coming out Saturday, you're waiting to see who you're going to play and, who you're going to bet on with those things, with that happening a day before, like almost less than a little over 24 hours from game day Saturday morning. So, I mean, that's interesting, right? That's a good point you bring up there.
Right. Thank you.
Allison, we'll get you out of here. Why don't you go on here and tell everybody again where they can find all your great content?
Yes. Yeah. So if you go to SteelersWire.com, you'll be able to see all of my articles there, along with my cohort, Kurt Popejoy, who's been covering the Steelers, for seasons. So if you're interested in Steelers content, you can go to SteelersWire.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at SteelersWireAK, or on Facebook at writer Allison Kohler.
Yep, there you go, folks. You can find her there, and you can find her here.
Yes, I am here.
Yeah, it's always a blessing, Allison. I'll give you I'll give you another money shot real quick, and we'll get you out of here. See you Friday if you can make it. If not, that's fine as well.
Awesome.
But yeah, I forgot to ask. So, what do you think the score is going to be for the Chiefs Texans game? I know me you didn't give up one.
28-17 Chiefs.
Well, that's still pretty close. 28 points. Since you picked it high, I'll take 21-13.
There we go.
Yep, there you have it. Thanks.
Yes.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too, man. Thank you.
Love having her. It's always fun. Brings a bubble of energy, and it's always good to have a mix. Got Rick Hughes on there busting in the room, Matt Colston, all you guys 49ers out there in the chat group giving 110%. You say never had a back like that. Yes, we did, Damien. We had LeGarrette Blount, and LeGarrette Blount should have never left this team. Patient, big runner, just like Derrick Henry, except he had the power of hurdle and stiff arm. The power of hurdle. I'm Blake Anthony. This is Sports Stuff 49. I had a brain fart for a second. I'm Blake Anthony. This is Sports Stuff 49. It'll be Monday and Friday. Monday doing post game to the game Sunday, and Friday doing pre-game to the next game, as we do Friday going into the Saints game coming Sunday. Looking forward to talking about Thursday night game versus Houston versus the Chiefs. Just excited to talk football. And as always, make sure to check out, or if you can, come to the sports bar of the Bucs Report at the Deck Bar and Grill at Isla del Sol out there in St. Pete. Also, go to mycannabiscard.com. Fast Track Cannabis Card Clinics of America is the nation's largest medical marijuana doctor network with over 2,500 state and licensed doctors in all 32 states. Medical marijuana is legal. MyCannabisCard.com is Tampa Bay's leading cannabis card clinic. My Cannabis Cards network is among the broadest in the nation and is developed to getting your cannabis card as easy and stress-free as possible. My Cannabis Card effectively links new patient and closest state licensed medical marijuana doctors near them, while also saving them 30% on evaluation costs. Just mention Bucs Report. As always said, make sure to get to the last comments here. Make sure to wrap it. Dunn did it right. Yes, he did. Should we go after Cap? I answered that. They don't have the cap space for Cap. But do I think he belongs on the roster? Absolutely. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. I think that's it. I think we got through everything. I know we were over an hour, but that's why I pushed the time back to 3 o'clock so we can cover stuff, because there's a lot going on with the league and we're talking football while getting into your fans' comments and everything. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your daily schedule. Enjoy your holiday on Labor Day and all that stuff. Just appreciate everything that you guys provide for us here at Bucs Report and giving you content all the time. Let me give myself the money shower with the Blakey dollars. Blakey dollars, should I call that? Give the 49ers some Blakey dollars. But also, you can always find me at my social media at BlakeAnthony49. You can always check me out there. Find me there. I'm always there. I've gotten way better this year in 2020 with Twitter. I was never really a Twitter guy or tweeter. Never really that kind of guy. But I am now. It's the way of the world, especially in media stuff when you're not playing football anymore. So it's fun to start doing that stuff. But we end this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you, guys. God bless. And as always, fire those